right by Lord, right by the airport. Waiting for you to come.
Yeah, I'd like to. That's why I'm asking.
Did you see my daughter's picture?
This
Okay, give me good harmony. Oy vahani bechalecho botachti vahani bechalecho botachti yogel libi Yeshua sego You know, imagine I'm standing before God and I say, you know, you have to help me because, you know, just look at me, you know, you don't have a better man than I am. You know what I'm doing for you, what I'm doing for Yiddishkeit. I mean, really face it, right? I say, I know I'm absolutely undeserving. But the mamash, I trust. You know, the Rosh of Midas Chesed, his love is so infinite, so unconditional, so unquestioning. You know, do I imagine my little girl would come up to me and ask me a favor? Does she have to tell me stories if she deserves it or not? I love her so much, you know. And even if she'd be deserving 1,000,000 times, I couldn't love her more. And I couldn't love her less if she's undeserving. It's a completely different thing. Okay, so David HaMelech says, Vani b'chaldecha b'tachti. Not only I ask you, I'm sure you'll help me, you know. You know, but why is it, you know, the Holy Baal Shem said that to be sad is a little bit pagan. Because if I'm sad, that means I don't believe that God will help me, right? If you're not so sure. It's pagan, right? It says, Vani b'chaldecha b'tachti. I know, trust you'll help me. But then I go one step further. The whole world is rejoicing after God helps them. But I rejoice even before. King David was already singing and dancing, not after God helped him. That everybody else can do, right? But then you don't have to be King David. But it says, Yogel, liebe b'shosecha, not only my heart is happy, Yogel, Gila means it's absolutely like, I'm blown away, I'm blown away because I know that you helped me. Anyway, you got to sing the song one more time and put a little bit soul into it. He has to go, yeah? Okay, thank you, Harry. How beautiful is it to hear the footsteps of the Messiah, of the great messenger on the mountain. Imagine a business meeting when I want to sell 1,000 bottles of Coca-Cola. I'm standing there and I'm waiting for this businessman to come. I'm waiting 2,000 years. I'm angry. Meshuggah toy. What does he think he is, right? Finally he's coming. Nothing. Imagine I'm waiting for the person I love the most. Waiting. Suddenly I hear her footsteps. So deep. Unbelievably deep. Can't imagine. This is so deep. You know what happens to me the moment I hear the footsteps? He awaits for 2,000 years with so much agony. But suddenly, I forgot why did I waited 2,000 years. And all the agony, all the pain, suddenly everything is so beautiful. And I'm thinking, Gaval, I'm so glad you waited that long. Because how would I know how much I love you if you would have waited that long? So it says, Manovu alehorim. You know, there's beautiful, then there's just, it's so divinely beautiful. It's beyond beautiful. It says, Manovu alehorim. How beautiful it will be on the mountain, you know, in Yerushalayim, Ragle Bavase. Then we hear the footsteps of the Mashiach. And the first thing he is doing is Mashmiya Shalom. Mamish, we hear the echo of peace. Mavasa Taiv. Mavasa Shalom, Mashmiya Taiv. Suddenly, Mamish, the moment the Mashiach is coming, everything is good. In Mavasa Yeshua and Mamish, I know the highest salvation there is. And then it says, Oymel Etzi and Molach Alakoyach. You know, friends, you know how much paganism there is in the world? How much paganism? So much. And forget about the world, you know? I don't know about you. I know how pagan I am. And then suddenly, Mamish Oymel Etzi, and at that moment, Mamish will be so much holiness, I'll Mamish know that there was one God. Oymel Etzi, is bringing the message to see Molach Alakoyach, your God is really the King. So I need the sweetest harmony. Most of you know the melody anyway. Shlomo, you want to say some holy words? You want to hear the greatest thing in the world? This is a song I didn't sing for a long time. But anyway, I made it up. I went to the cemetery where our grandparents, and all the way back, are buried. And the greatest thing in the world, I jumped on the train, you know, and this melody was going on in my head. And I asked a little German boy, you know, to hold me the mic. And you know, he was so sweet. He held the mic for 1 hour, you know. But you know what? I thought to myself, look here. Maybe his father or his grandfather killed my uncle, so my family. I don't know. You know? And you know how close we're getting to the coming of the Messiah? That this little boy is holding the mic while I'm singing the Zoicha Chasdei Avos. Now listen to this, this is not the end. The craziest thing is that he has a father and a mother, right? The little boy of 6 doesn't travel alone, right? The craziest thing is that his parents were sitting there crying their eyes out, you know? And the craziest thing is, I was in touch with, es war eine Familie von Kiel, von der Stadt Kiel, and they were going from Hamburg to Kiel, you know? I mean from Lübeck to Kiel. And I was in touch with them for a long time. And they also had a boy of 17. And later on I met him in Holland in the summer, and unbelievable. Anyway, I don't sing it so good, you know, so you have to bear with me just a little bit. I didn't sing it for a long time, I don't know why. Let's first sing the most important part.
Oh,
Shlomo.
Yes, it's very good. Service times.
Ha ha ha. Mom, you have to go already, yeah? Okay, Shlomo, thank you so much for coming.
You're simple.
I'm saying on Shlomo.
Please.
Mom, sweet like sugar. Take a bench.
I'll speak to you.
Okay, thank you. What?
I've got a question.
Yeah,
That
let's hear.
sounds really stupid.
That's the only way to be.
But when we were we read the Torah,
Yeah.
and it said with Balaam and
Oh, this Shabbos, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it said that Hashem came to him in dreams. Said,
And
okay,
asked him.
if these guys tell you to come with
Yeah.
them, then go with them. And said, but do what I say.
Yeah.
So Balaam went, and then God was really angry
Yeah.
that he went. So how come he was angry if he said it's okay?
Why is this the deepest question in the world, you know?
It was what I didn't hear that.
So ask the deepest question in the world. You see what it is, like... you see what it is? I tell you the deepest depths of this. Shabbos, Yontif, what's going on? אתם עוזבים אותנו כבר? כמה זמן אתם שומעים באמריקה? וככה אתם חוזרים. אז מתי אתם באים למושב? תבואו פעם לשבת. יא? ב-16 ליולי יש לי חתונה גדולה במושב. אז תבואו. יא? אוקיי. תודה רבה לכם שבאתם. It's my cousins, you know? They're sweet like sugar. What? My mother's side, yeah.
It's on your mother's side?
Yeah. My cousin Shlomo is on my father's side. Okay, Rabbi, let me answer Sadia fast. You see, basically, the truth is, we have to learn the whole Parsha of Balak and Bilam, you know? You have to know the whole story of what was going on there, you know? But, what you know the deepest depth? What is mostly our problem? All of us. Okay, forget about you, I know my problem. Deep, deep down we think we can fool God a little bit. Can get away with something, right? Or we think the accountant there doesn't write everything down. Or we think maybe God is skipping a few pages. Or we think maybe God is just busy at this moment with traffic on 42nd Street. You know, what's the first thing of a Jew? First thing of a real servant of God? I have to know that Mamish, God is looking at me constantly, right? It's earth-shaking, right? And what would I give to get away from God's eyes for a minute? Sometimes, right? It's nerve-wracking. Now listen to this. But you know what God is doing? God says to me, listen, you don't want me to look at you? Okay, I won't. I won't. Listen to this. Imagine I go out on the street and I'm looking for a cab. Right there. I'm coming to LaGuardia, I'm looking for a plane in Chicago, leaving in 5 minutes. I'm arriving in Chicago, I have to make a reservation in a hotel. First tell I die, yeah, we have opening for you. The next morning I have to make a meeting, the person's on the phone, I'm waiting for you. You know, sometimes it goes like flowing like a river. Or imagine I'm going out on the street and my plane leaves 8 o'clock, at 7 o'clock I need a cab. It's 10 after 7, 20 after 7. No cab. Finally 8 o'clock I have a cab, I missed the flight, right? I'm coming to Chicago 12 o'clock at night. Can't get a hotel on the whole joint. I don't know what should I do, you know. I'm trying to call up people, nobody's home. I'm lying all night on the airport. The next morning I'm calling up the person I came for. I'm supposed to have a meeting. He says, wow, next week, not this week. You know, I'm trying to get back to New York. Everything is, don't ask. You know? Okay, what's happening? What's the first and the second side? So this is one of the very, very deep principles of the Rambam from Maimonides, which is accepted by the Holy Baal Shem, by all the great Kabbalists. That God looks at you the way you look at Him. If I look at God constantly, then God has His eyes open also at me, right? And everything goes, I walk on the street, I have a cab, everything goes like a river. But if I say, God, God, I'm a little bit uncomfortable. Can you look away? God, it's okay, do your own thing. Get along without me. I'm standing like a dope and I'm waiting for 1 hour for a cab. Everything goes wrong. I can't do without God, right? I can. But God is not taking care of it, right? And Rabbi Nachman is one of the deep, deep principles. There's such a thing as my life is in order, and my life is absolute chaos. What is the greatest light in the world? The greatest light in the world is when God's light is shining in front of me, right? It's clear to me that there's one God. Now let's go one step further. Why don't I want God to look at me all the time? Because I really don't want to do what God wants me to do, right? Let's face it. I want to do my own thing, right? And you know what it is? This is even the deeper steps. I'm not so much uncomfortable before I did the wrong thing. I want to do it. I say, God, I'm sorry. Today I'm not so good. I want to do something wrong. I don't want God to look at me after. After, I want Him to look at me. I say, please God, you don't look at me, I'm not looking at you. Can't stand. Imagine if you did something wrong to your best friend. Want them to look at you all the time? You don't want to, right? You don't want to see them. So Zohar Kodesh says, after we do something wrong, we don't want God to look at us. God's okay, I won't look at you. What happens when I do tshuva? Say, please God, I can't manage that. Can't manage. My life is absolute chaos. See, Bilam was like this. Bilam, he knew there was one God. On a God, you know something? On in God knowledge, he had the same knowledge as Moshe Rabbeinu. But you know what the difference was? He didn't want God to look at him all the time. Bilam was the most perverted character in the world. He was living with his donkey. He was mamish the lowest pervert. And he believed in killing and stealing. He didn't hesitate to kill a few people. He didn't hesitate. Stealing didn't bother him. He'd do anything in the world. And why do you think he wanted to curse the Jews? Because Balak is paying him. He'll do anything for money, right? But he also wants to cash in on his God knowledge. He says, I'm a God man, I know all about God. I'm a top guru. So God treated him back. God says to him, who are the people? I don't know who they are. Who are the people there, right? Because Balak doesn't want God to look at him all the time. Suddenly God comes in the middle of the night. I don't know who the people. I don't know everything about you, Oh, he says there's some people who want me to go and curse the Jews. God says, very interesting, but I would appreciate if you do what I want to do, like winking with one eye. You can really do what you want to, but let's see, So he says, God is stupid. God doesn't look all the time. I'll do my own thing, then I'll tell God something else. You see what it is? I don't want to go into the whole book of... You're going already. Sag a bench. Call you. Bye, Esther. You see, I want you to know, this whole book of Bamidbar, we're learning it, is so deep, You can do everything right. Take between people, Remember I told you once, I met this girl, I love her the most, right? And I say to her, I want you to marry me. She asked me, why should I marry you? She says, because I do everything you want me to do. How exciting, right? She says, I'm sorry, it doesn't turn me on. It doesn't turn me on. Well, I said, what do you mean? I'll do anything you tell me to. It's got to be deeper than that, right? You know something? I tell God, I'll do anything you want me to do. And I'm still off. It takes something deeper than that. You think the highest you can offer God is holiness? You think the highest you can offer God to do everything right? Because it's possible to do everything right and still be off. Okay, until now, if you follow the portions of the week, we learned about Aaron, Miriam, even Moshe. Last Shabbos we read, even Moshe can make a mistake. It's possible. Because we're just human beings. Possible. But you know something? You think because you made one mistake you're off? You're still Moshe Rabbeinu, right? When I am very close to somebody, closeness does not depend how much they're doing my will. I'd like to do what I want you to do, right? But it's possible Korach did everything right in his whole life. He never made one aver, because if he would have ever done one wrong thing, he wouldn't have had the chutzpah to say, I want to be the high priest. Right? Korach, can you imagine? He never did one thing wrong in his whole life, and he was off. And the earth wanted to swallow him up. Do you know Aaron made the golden calf? He was a high priest. Why did he make the golden calf? Because he saw they're doing it. He says, let me do it. And if someone does wrong, let me do it for them, right? Everybody's ready to go to heaven. Are you ready to go to hell for somebody? No? Aaron, without getting involved in the whole story, Aaron made the golden calf in order to take the sin off of all of Israel. God says, you're ready to go to hell for somebody? You're ready to do wrong for somebody else? You really love them that much? You're the high priest, right? Now we come to Bilam, right? Bilam has all the God knowledge there is. He doesn't know anything about God. He doesn't know anything about God, right? Do you know I can write 15 books on theology, be a preacher for God from here till Mashiach's coming, and I don't know the lowest thing about God. What's the name? Bilam does not know anything about the Rabbi Shalom. And he has clear prophecy. He sees from one corner of the world to the other. And it's nothing. Do you think I'm turned on when someone tells me I have visions, perform miracles? Damn your miracles. Do you think I'm turned on by miracles? It's not miracles. You perform miracles, Mazel Tov. Who cares? Do you think I'm a Jew because I saw some miracles? I'm a Jew because I heard God's voice, because God spoke to me directly. God says, I'm the Lord your God. Listen to this. I think I told you once, when I was just came out from a yeshiva, while I was in yeshiva, I was absolutely not in this world. It means it had nothing to do with the world, I was learning in Lakewood for 6 years, and for me to come to New York was like to go from paradise to hell, I would be up all night before to give myself strength. I would come in the morning, do my thing, and come back the same night and be up all night the night later after that learning to make up for the time. And I was mamish, okay, then, so my father had a heart attack, he had to be in New York. So I thought, this is my chance. I want to see what the world is doing. And I did something stupid, but I did it. I got myself a paper from Rabbi, that I'm have a good head. And I went to Columbia, and the woman there, who was, by the way, she was the head of the League for the Arab Refugees. She's the biggest anti-Semite in the world. But every anti-Semite likes one Jew. Have you ever noticed that? Anyway, I was her Jew, to make up for all the sins. She liked me, and she put me right into graduate school, because I didn't. Anyway, stupid. Okay, and I'm in another world. It's unbelievable, Anyway, was a summer session. You know, summer session you're much more closer to people than in the winter. I learned a lot. Anyway, one day I'm walking into the Jewish student society, what's called there. How's it called? Menorah, Hillel or something? No, not in Columbia University, it's not Hillel. Menorah or something. This is the first time I walked in there, and the first time I meet those kind of kids, you know, so-called intellectuals, who don't know exactly what a Jew is all about, and this Reform rabbi gives the biggest speech ever since the creation of the world. He says, I'm just coming back from Cincinnati, and you have to realize today I'm like a little bit, I wouldn't say more open, but okay, I'm not putting my syrup on this rabbi. That time I came out from the yeshiva, you know, I was burning up, I knew what a Jew is supposed to be, right? And this Reform rabbi, he says, I'm coming back from a convention, and our theme was God. I mean, blow your mind, right? He says there were 923 rabbis discussing God. And and now listen to this. He mentioned Nietzsche, he mentioned Kant, he mentioned Hegel, he mentioned the Reader's Digest, and he also mentioned Psychology Today, let's say, and also Playboy, the last page, don't take me wrong, and I mean, he's a rabbi, right? And what else? And what else? That's it. And they discussed a mature concept of God. That we Jews have such an immature concept of God, meaning the religious Jews have an immature concept of God, and the Reform rabbis got together and they want to give a real mature concept. I'm burning up there. Am I supposed to jump at his throat? Am I supposed to knock him off? Am I supposed to take some cold water and pour it over his head? I didn't know what to do, but in the meantime I didn't do anything. This rabbi there, Rabbi Hoffman, saw me for the first time, and everybody was talking, and I was afraid to open my mouth, because if I open my mouth I have to knock him off. Didn't say anything. But he must have sensed. Later on we became good friends. He was like a super Reform rabbi, but he was a sweet Yiddish, you know? Anyway, he says, I see for the first time a young rabbi here. He says, aren't you studying to be a rabbi? He says, yeah, I'm a student in Lakewood in the yeshiva studying to be a rabbi. He says, would be very interesting, he says, you know, would be very exciting. A Reform rabbi and a future Orthodox rabbi, you know? I said to him, listen brother, I'm afraid it'll be more exciting than you would like it to be, you know, but I says, you know, ask the Reformer, what's your name? Rabbi Cohen. Let's say Rabbi Cohen, you know? I says, before I begin even to talk, you have to promise me that you forgive me for whatever I say. And I mean it. It's okay, I forgive you. He says, my friend, will you be very, very angry if I call you Mr. Cohen and not Rabbi? Because you're not a rabbi. You're not a teacher. Maybe you're a good man, but you can talk about God to us Jews and not say one great Jew who thought about God, only Hegel, Nietzsche, Kant. He says, it so happened that I know about Yiddishkeit on my own, but imagine I'm a student and I'm coming in to hear something about Judaism, and all you have to give me Nietzsche. If I want to hear Nietzsche, I go to a philosophy class. Oh, I forgot one thing. He mentioned Rabbi Akiva, and he laughed. I said, listen brother, you are laughing at Rabbi Akiva? Are you out of your head? I'm sure you can't even read Hebrew properly. You can't read one page in the Talmud. I mean, who are you? Is here nothing? Says Gewalt, are you off? I said, I'll tell you something. You better go home and pour out your heart before God. That God shouldn't lie to you what God is all about. I said, do you think I'm impressed because 923 rabbis, rabbis, whatever you call themselves, talking about God? So you should be afraid to take the word God in your dirty mouth. I said, I'll tell you something. I have very good advice for you. You better go to Meir Shorim. You go to Israel. And the first little boy with long payas may not be your type of a Jewish boy, but he looks like our forefathers. He looks like a real Jew. He looks like a Jew of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he's 3 years old. He has no PhD. He never went to Columbia University. And you'll ask him, what is God? And this little boy will close his eyes He'll put his hand over his eyes. And he will yell from one corner of the world to the other. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. God is one. And I swear to you that this little boy knows more about God than you and all the 923 rabbis. It so happens, this was my first public speech after the King Yeshiva. I want you to know, first of all, I had a standing ovation. Do you know something? Listen to this. After my speech was over, I walked up to the rabbi and I kissed him, you know. You know, he broke down crying. He started yelling on top of his lungs, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. You know, I really touched him. He says, Shlomo, I want you to know, all the talk I gave is not for real. Inside I'm burning up, you know. It was unbelievable, you know. But you see, this is Moshe Rabbeinu's kind of a Jew, right? Bilam is talking about God, right? But he will not break down when someone says Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, right? Bilam is fooling God all the time. Bilam knows that God has chosen the Jews, right? Bilam thinks God is Sinai, can talk him out of it. Bilam says to God, listen God, why do you need the Jews? Why don't you rather have 70, you know? Instead of one altar, let me make 70 altars. And I can get you all the pagan world to serve you. But you know how pagans want to serve God? They don't want God to look all the time, right? They don't want God to look at them all the time. And you see the whole portion of Bilam is so deep on Balak, you know? Fooling God all the time. And I have to tell you something very, very deep. The Talmud says Moshe Rabbeinu wrote the Torah and the portion of Balak. Is that unbelievable? So everybody says, what's Balak better than the whole Torah, right? Okay, it has millions of meanings. But now I want you to know the deepest depths. You know what Balak is all about? If Moshe Rabbeinu would have not written it down, we wouldn't even know it existed, right? You know, whenever we Jews have trouble, Pharaoh, Edom, all those people who turned against us, we knew about it, right? Balak, nobody knew about it, right? Balak and Bilam. Balak says to Bilam, let's go. We don't know about it. You know how deep this is? There is some danger in the world, there's something in the world, you'll never be aware of it. But Gewalt is that strong. There is something in the world, you'll never know about it. And it can turn you off completely from God. But Gewalt is that strong. There is something in the world, you'll never know about it. And it can turn you off completely from God. And it turns you off so much that you think you're still a servant of God, you still have God knowledge, and you're the lowest pagan in the world, right? Okay, none of us will take a piece of wood and bow down before it. But every one of us, it's so easy. So easy to fool God, right? Gewalt is that easy. Gewalt is that easy. I don't know about you, I know just me, you know. It's so easy. I can walk around still, listen, I'm a good Jew, right? Have a yarmulke where it sits, put on tefillin. But I can be the lowest Bilam, right? The lowest Bilam. You know something? You know how much evil we talk about other people? You know why? They'll never know I said it, right? You know what that means? It's paganism, right? I wouldn't say bad things when the person is looking, right? But he's not looking, right? Everything is not looking, right? And even the way we talk to other people, and we think we fooled them. Why is God truth, right? Not fooling, right? You know how hard it is to get out of not fooling people, not fool yourself. Gewalt is that heavy, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu wrote down the whole Torah, and Moshe Rabbeinu also wrote down the Parshat of Balak and Bilam. To cleanse ourselves. To cleanse, because why do I need to know what Balak and Bilam? To cleanse myself. How much to cleanse myself, you know? And this is Gewalt, is that deep, you know? And I'll tell you something, when it comes to learning, Do you know how much you can fool yourself to think that you understand what you know? And how beautiful it is that it's clear to you. I really don't know it yet. Just got to learn it. You know when people talk to each other. Yeah, I understand what you say. I don't know what you said. But who cares, right? I'm a pagan. You know, friends, obviously it's clear to you that there's such a thing as paganism between me and God. There's also a pagan relationship, right? Pagan means I can fool you. You don't look. I don't want you to look at me all the time. I don't want you to know everything I'm doing. Right? You know, imagine if people could relate to each other on a non-pagan level. How deep it would be, right? How deep it would be between people. You see, like Moshe did wrong also. But he for 1 second stopped to look at God. God looked at him. You can do wrong sometimes. You know, it's very clear in Ishbitz. Why was Adam driven out from paradise? Not because he ate the wrong food. Because he was hiding from God. Why were you hiding? You don't trust me enough, you can tell me you did wrong? You know, if Adam would have eaten the forbidden fruit, then he would say to God, you know, I'm sorry. God says, I know you're a human being. I never expected anything else of you. And you only learn by mistakes. You know, the Gemara says, the deepest knowledge comes from mistakes. You don't learn until you make mistakes. So it's good. It's okay. It's 100% okay. But why are you hiding? You know what's so special on Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur is one time when I realize, let me ask you something. I have to tell God my mistakes, He doesn't know. But you know what the deepest depth is? Like I'm turning the clock back. And I said to God, you know something? Let's say I did something wrong on Sunday, July 5th, and I didn't want you to look. Can you please look now when I did it? I'm saying, Rabbi, please look at me doing wrong. Don't take your eyes off me, right? Don't take your eyes off me. And if God doesn't take off His eyes, there's no problem in forgiving, right? No problem. You know, sukkahs comes from the word to look. The whole thing is that I'm saying a bunch of not only want you to look from sometimes I want to sit for 8 days and I want you to look at me the whole time. And you know something, the deepest depths, this is mamish deep. When do we stop being close to our parents? Same thing. When we don't want them to know what we're doing. I don't want you to look at me all the time, right? I'm ready to tell you a few crummy things that I'm doing. I don't want you to know everything I'm doing. You know what happens to us in the sukkah? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and our 4 mothers all come back to the sukkah. Because mamish won't look at each other the whole time. Imagine if you could keep a relationship with our parents, that we could mamish want to look at each other all the time. How deep, you know. Deep is not the word, right? Earth-shaking. Earth-shaking. And after that we take out the Torah. And you know how deep it is? You know, when somebody looks at you, you look at them, you don't have to talk so much. You can sit and look at each other for 100 years, right? You know why I have to learn the Torah, all the words? Only because from time to time I don't want God to look at me. And Simchas Torah. After sitting in the sukkah for 7 days, I'm not even opening the Torah. I'm just dancing with the Torah, right? Because I just have to look at the Torah when the Torah looks at me, right? And again, have you ever seen the way children look at you? So deep, right? So holy, right? You know, sometimes Dari wakes me up in the middle of the night and she says to me, Dad, you know, she's so cute. She goes and she wakes me up in the cutest way and she says, Dad, I don't want you to sleep. I say, what do you want me to do? She says, I just want you to look at me. That's sweet, you know. Says, Dad, you want to sleep and I should sit here and look at you? She says, yeah, Dad. And she's already asleep. Such precious moments, you know. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable, right? You see what happened when we destroyed the Holy Temple, when God destroyed the Holy Temple? Here I want you to open your hearts in a deep way. Can I sit in the middle of the street and look at the girl I love the most? Like this? There's traffic, right? Listen, if I want to look at her without stopping, you're going to take her to the house, right? You know what it means that we're driven out from God's house and we're living on the street? You can't look at each other all the time, right? Be realistic, right? In the Holy Temple, we look at each other the whole time. And I don't know if it's even for Tisha B'Av, I just want you to know one thing. This is the deepest depth. Imagine this girl, I loved her the most, right? Suddenly we had a fight, we don't look at each other anymore. How am I going to fix it? So listen to this. Got to open your hearts in the deepest way. I said to her, listen to me. I wish you could look at me all the time. But I don't know where you are. But whenever you want to look at me, here's the key to my house. You can come in any time. I'm always ready for you to look at me. Do you know what happened the last second when the Holy Temple was destroyed? I don't know if you remember it, though. I told it to you 100 times, some of you. All the young priests got together, and there was a balcony in the Holy Temple. The Holy Temple was already burning, but they didn't leave the Holy Temple. They were standing on the balcony. And the high priest was with them. And the high priest had the key to the Holy Temple. And Mamash, at the very, very last second before this balcony just fell in, he said, God, we were guarding your Holy Temple to the very last second. From now on, you have to guard it. And he threw the key up to heaven, and they saw a hand coming from heaven and taking the key. You see, this is so deep, so deep, so deep, so deep. And I always tell people that the mezuzah is like throwing up the key to God, at the door. God, I'm giving you the keys to my house, You know what the deepest depth is? Are you doing for God that what you're doing for God? A lot of people have anger in their hearts, right? So what do? Suddenly they get angry at all the people who are bad. They do it for God, right? No, they do it because they like to yell, right? What's about the Crusaders? They were really so concerned with the pagan world? No, they want to kill. Hang it on God, right? Balaam wants to kill, right? He wants to curse. I'm doing it for God, right? I'm a prophet. And you know what he did? He was looking for something bad about the Jews, right? If you remember the story. He was looking for something bad, and he can't see it. Balaam is so holy, when he sees the Jews doing something wrong, he can't bear it, right? You're going, darling? Oh, good. So you see what it is. This Shabbos is such a soul cleaner. Such a deep cleaner, If you yell because you see something wrong, just look at yourself. Are you yelling really for the sake of God? Or are you like Balaam who wants to curse? And this cuts right through the 3/4 of the Jewish establishment, right? I won't say anything bad, but we know those people, And again, when you meet those non-Balaam people, those real non-pagan people, it's so beautiful, right? You talk to them straight. they talk to you straight, right? And when you meet those Bilam people, everything is perverted, right? Everything is perverted. Nothing is straight, right? Everything is, while I'm looking at you, don't look at me, right? While I'm telling you the truth, just remember I'm lying, right? Yeah, Amelia knows the whole thing. Okay, Kevin, let's make a little circle because I really want to say one more Kaddish. Can you stand up and come very, very close? I forgot to thank Shlomo. I forgot to thank you before, when I wasn't sure. Didn't see you. I mentioned everyone who's keeping the shul alive, and you're the one who keeps it most. Mama Steve was my mother's right hand all the years, I must really thank you a million times, brother. Just for this long, you should have a share in the coming world. And I bless you not ever to be like Bilam, Mamash. Everything should be clear to you. You should meet people who want to relate to you on a non-pagan level. Sometimes you meet a person and ask them, what's your name? And they say, what do you ask? So why not? Tell me. Okay. My name is Max. Where do you live? Why do you ask? Why not? I want you to visit me sometimes. Okay. Takes them half a year to write down their address. And they say to them, I'm not going to say your telegram, what's your phone? Why do you ask? Oh, what do you think I'll do with your phone? I'll sell it? But you know what their problem is? This pagan perversion, right? Pagan perversion. So you meet a person, everything is so strange, so sweet. And again, the acid test is always, if it's straight, is how do children react? That's the acid test, because children don't know how to lie, right? If you ask a child, what's your name? To tell you, right?
Not always.
No, because they're ashamed to talk, that's something else, But not because they don't want to tell you. Like Dari doesn't want to tell her name because she doesn't know yet how to, she thinks maybe I don't say it right. So I say, Dari, should I tell it for you? She says, yes, She wants people to know her name, but she doesn't have yet the courage to say it always on her own, Something else, It's not pagan, it's just, they're still little angels that didn't make it to the world yet. Okay. The Psalm of David. The Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Something. How do you know how much you love somebody? You know? Very simple way. If you look at each other straight, you love each other, right? Such a deep thing, so deep. Means I'm relating to you on a non-pagan level. Because paganism is not true, you know? It just doesn't exist. It's just an illusion. And you know, I'll tell you something, I travel all over the world, I'm sure you too. And I'm invited to people's homes. You don't even have to watch the way they talk to each other. Just, the husband walks through the door, the way they say hello to each other. Do they look at each other for 1 second longer? Or say hello. Have another thing which is very important to me. You know, when a husband and wife say hello to each other, do they talk soft or talk loud? When they talk loud, nothing between them, right? No secret. They talk soft, it's beautiful. You know what the difference is? God wants us. Do you know that the high priest and the holiest, how much noise he made? How much noise did he make? Even the angels couldn't hear anything. And Bilam, you know, when he built those altars before God, he was yelling on top of his lungs like a wild ox. There's a medrash. God says, don't talk so loud. You know? What are you talking so loud to me? But it's the same thing, you know. See what it is, if I look at somebody, they're close to each other, we whisper, right? But if I don't want you to look at me, I'm far away. I gotta yell, right? Bilam is yelling at God all the time. Moshe Rabbeinu, you know what the mother says, when Moshe Rabbeinu was talking to God, it was so soft. It was so soft. Okay, join me. Yizgadav, Shemei Ravo. V'yamon Elokeinu sei, V'yam Nechmano sei, V'yatzma Pokonei, V'koreh Meshinei. V'chayekoi V'chai Lechol Beis, V'koloi